Trapmore gang, I have some huge updates on the Stockton mass shooting that has just devastated Northern California, and it's just had the news, the authorities, the local residents just in an absolute state of just shock and horror over the last few days, over the last week or so. Okay, this is still a very fresh story, but there's a lot of new updates that I want to get into today, and some of the stuff that I'm going to tell you in this video is pretty crazy. Okay, there's talk that maybe the woman that was part of planning the party that was involved. This is, look, we've seen this woman in the previous videos. Okay, they're basically saying that the party host, all right, and she was kind of going viral for this choke bitty tattoo on her neck, people saying that she's involved with a lot of the gangs and the gang members that were wrapped up in this case and potentially being targeted. There's talk, and I know she denied it, but there's talk that she might have actually, been the person who ended up letting the location of the party end up becoming public. There's also the local sheriffs are actually calling out witnesses, saying that they're lying, saying that they're not getting the support that they need to actually crack this case. Apparently, the alleged targets of the shooting that spoke out previously, they're appearing in court. The FBI and the ATF are on the case, and there's even new details in the drive-by shooting that happened after the shooting, the initial mass shooting that went down. There's new details about what that next incident was about, and I'm going to get into all of that in this video for you guys. So this is a tweet that is going around, okay, and it's some pretty damning allegations in this, okay? Sarah Fields is reporting on this. Hang on a minute. So I clicked on the wrong thing there, but go and subscribe to her if you want, okay? She is essentially an investigative journalist, Army veteran, all right, parent-child activist, and a freedom of information request queen, okay? That's what we like to see. Now, this extensive post, it says, more info revealed in Stockton, California shooting tragedy. Okay, it's pretty crazy. It says, according to a source residing in the Stockton area, Patrice Williams, who was hosting the birthday party for her 2-year-old daughter at the time, posted the party invitation on her Instagram story, now deleted, just before the party. Reportedly, the invitation included the location of the birthday party. According to the source, she did this while knowing that her brother and the father of her child had just produced a rap song a few weeks before that dissed dead people. Her brother and baby daddy are a big part of the problem in Stockton. Okay, the father of Patrice's daughter is Nano MB, or Real RRW Nano, collaborated with fellow Stockton artist MB Nell, who was also in attendance on the single Driveway, released in mid-2025. His first solo music video, Real Murder Music, was released in August 2025, and at the 20 to 30 second mark, he mentions shooting at ops regardless of kids being around. He says, I don't give a F about no kids. Because of this, Patrice has received backlash via social media. You ought to be ashamed of yourself as a woman and as a mother, carrying yourself and leading your children so recklessly, subjecting all of those poor babies to gun and gang violence. All right. And this post is going around here. Okay, that's basically, it's a long post. Somebody has basically DM'd her being very, 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 very harsh. And people are saying these are the Instagram stories. Other Instagram stories that have been going around. People coming at her, calling her out, all of these kind of things. Okay, there's a lot of really sad things going on. But people are saying never, ever, ever put on social media where you're going to be. Even we know that, and we're not affiliated with gangs. People are saying they live here. We indeed have a huge gang problem. Okay, but some people are sticking up for her, to be fair. Some people are sticking up for her. Some people are saying, I tend to think the person subjecting the kids to guns and violence is the person who shot them. So some people are calling out and saying, look, all right. And I do kind of agree. Sometimes I feel like there's some pretty unfair and over-the-top victim blaming that goes on out here, okay? But it's like, let's really have the smoke for the people that opened fire, okay? Let's not blame the victims. I mean, look, hey, it depends how you look at it, okay? You could say that's a really reckless thing to do. That's absolutely no way to conduct yourself, especially if you know what was going on. But then on the other hand, you could say, look, well, we all make mistakes. Arguably, this is a very, very, one of the biggest mistakes you could possibly make. But really, let's keep the focus on the awful people that actually had the gall to go and do this. Just because you posted an Instagram story doesn't mean that you wanted to or you had anything to do with a bunch of absolutely awful human beings coming along and committing murder at that location that you posted. It's not really your fault. So in my last video, we covered Flyboy Dougie 3's speaking out from behind bars and basically denying that he wanted anything to do with this situation, basically saying that he tried to be a hero in the situation and protect children and protect the people that were being targeted. Now, the sheriff has now come out and basically called him out, called him a liar. and revealed that actually nobody is cooperating with them, and the community is actually making it very hard for them to get justice in this situation. And this actually does kind of annoy me a little bit, but let's see what was reported on the news, and I'll give you some of my thoughts on the situation.
And the sheriff's also disputing what someone who witnessed the shooting told us in a jailhouse interview. That man is currently in jail on parole violations.
KCRA 3's Anahita Jafari brings us that part of their conversation.
Today, we had the chance to sit down with the sheriff to hear about where the investigation into this deadly mass shooting stands and get his response to what a witness told me yesterday in our jailhouse interview.
My officer, who was first on scene, arrived across the street because that's the location where they said it was, and then he heard the yelling. He ran into the building before it was cleared of any other suspects, saw what was going on, ran back to his car, got his medical bag, ran back into the building, and immediately started assisting children.
Sheriff Patrick Withrow says since day one, his department has been working around the clock to catch those responsible.
I can't tell you anything about the investigation right now because I'm not willing to risk doing anything that could damage the investigation or in the future prosecution of this.
I just started to run after all the kids that I seen fall, and I started to carry them, and I noticed that when the police came that they didn't run to the kids, they were like still pointing the guns.
That is inmate Billy Williams in an exclusive jailhouse interview with KCRA Tuesday. He claimed police did not immediately help that night. Williams is a convicted felon who was picked up on a parole violation for being at Saturday's party. Sheriff Withrow disagreed with his account.
We have video footage that is part of our investigation that shows not only did he not help carry children out or anything else, he was constantly interfering with my officers, calling them names, telling them to get away from the children.
Williams also told KCRA,
I'm not going to lie, this one pisses me off. This one pissed me off. Now, I don't know who's telling the truth in this situation, but you got gang member talking about, I was really helping, I was trying to help, I was really helping, you know, the police. And then, bro, the cops are talking about you was interfering, you was calling everybody names, you was making the situation worse. Now, that boils my blood, because if that's really what was going on, and he's saying we got proof, we got evidence, that body-worn camera footage is going to come out eventually, unfortunately. If that's really what was going on, it's all well and good, isn't it? It's all well and good. You're jumping on a jail phone interview and you're just going to make yourself sound like the hero. I was carrying, I was shielding the kids, I was doing this, that, and the other. But if it actually comes out that that was cap and that you was impeding the investigation, not even the investigation, you was impeding the emergency services trying to help these kids and getting in the way, bro, you're cooked. I don't care what happens to you after that. If that's true, I don't care. I actually want to hear this again. I want to hear this whole thing again because this actually is crazy.
Or in the future prosecution of this.
I just started to run after all the kids that I seen fall, and I started to carry them, and I noticed that when the police came that they didn't run to the kids, they were like still pointing the guns.
He said when the police came, they didn't run after the kids, they were still pointing the guns. Now, this is just a little bit of advice, all right, for you Stockton gang members, okay? You're already in hot water. You're in jail, right? You was the target of this situation, and you're in jail, okay? And I know sometimes the police play dirty. Gang members probably play dirty as well, okay? Everybody, it's a dirty game. This whole crime, being a criminal, cops and robbers, it's a dirty game on both sides. All right, I have sympathy. But you're all in a whole lot of trouble. Being the target of this shooting, you're in trouble. They're getting you on a probation. This is a mess. A mass shooting. As many as 19 people have been hit. 4 people have died. And they're mostly children. As I said in my previous video, bro, you ain't pass and go. You ain't like, everybody's sitting down until we know what's going on, okay? The adults are in the room now. Everybody's sitting down, all right? Yeah, your parole violation. We don't even want you out on the street thinking you're going to go get backs, thinking that they're going to slide on you. You're all on timeout. And I'm not this isn't a joke. I'm not taking the piss. You're all on timeout until we work out what's going on because this is a mess. You've got way too out of control. You've been playing stupid games and it's out of control. You're already on the police's radar. They already got you in probation violation. You're already wilding out. You're in a lot of trouble. I didn't even realize it at the time, but how stupid do you have to be to talk shit about the police? Even if he's telling the truth, yeah, the police were still pointing their guns. They weren't helping the kids. Now, the cops are now saying that he's a liar. But even if you're telling the truth, how dumb do you have to be? How do you think the police are going to treat you? How do you think the police and the court system and the judges and how do you think they're going to be dealing with you when you're in there talking shit about them? And really, look, as much as we want to say F the police, you know what I'm saying, the police are racist, institutional racism, that's a whole conversation for another day. But I really don't think there's a world where there's a venue full of dying and dead kids and the average police officer doesn't want to help them, doesn't want to save those lives. People get into these things for all different types of reasons, but I really don't think there's a world that maybe they did have guns drawn on some people, some gang members. Maybe they didn't know if the shooters was in that room, okay? Maybe there was a lot of confusion, but I don't think there's a world where the police genuinely aren't trying to help a mass shooting where children are being targeted. Maybe, hey, I could be wrong. Maybe there are situations where that happens, but like, for him to say this, bro, you in a world of trouble, man. You in a world of trouble, because how you think the police are going to feel when this is getting out there? We know how they're feeling, because they've even felt the need to clap back. Like, you played yourself, bro, because it's like they're not going to deal with you the right way after you throwing shade on them, and they saying you're capping. That body-worn footage is going to come out, and we're going to find out who's capping eventually, man. It's not going to be a good look, okay? It's not going to be a good look regardless.
When the police came, they didn't run to the kids. They were like still pointing the guns.
That is inmate Billy Williams in an exclusive jailhouse interview with KCRA Tuesday. He claimed police did not immediately help that night. Williams is a convicted felon who was picked up on a parole violation for being at Saturday's party. Sheriff Withrow disagreed with his account.
We have video footage that is part of our investigation that shows not only did he not help carry children out or anything else, he was constantly interfering with my officers, calling them names, telling them to get away from the children.
Williams also told KCRA3 the gunshots sounded like balloons popping and his back was turned to the shooter.
I've been on scenes when gunshots are going off, and I've never thought they were balloons popping. And when gunshots go off, I turn and look in the direction where that sound is coming from.
But even with the shooters still out there, the sheriff says information remains limited, and it's not too late to come forward.
Sheriff, I know you said that you guys are...
He's basically saying all these gang members are all capping, saying, oh, we thought it was balloons going off. We didn't even look in the direction. We can't tell you who shot. Now, I know you're gang members. You're going to go by the code of the streets. You're not going to snitch. You're not going to tell. That's cool. This is beyond gang politics now. And the police are not happy. The authorities, the FBI, Donald Trump personally is going to be hearing about this. He's going to be pissed. All right? Whether you like or don't like Trump, bruh, he's on the, like, he's going to be telling people, like, yo, you need to sort this shit out. You need to crack some heads and make this shit. You need to straighten this out. So for you to hop out here and start talking shit about the police, and even if it's true, it's like, bruh, sometimes you got to play it smart.
Having a hard time getting some cooperation from the families and people that were at the party. What would you say to those people that were there, that were on parole, that are scared of coming forward due to potentially having a parole violation and then ending up in jail as well?
An 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 14-year-old that were gunned down at a party. And now is not the time to worry about yourself. Okay, now is the time to worry about those kids. And we need everyone to come forward and tell us what they know.
In San Joaquin.
That's honestly facts. Like, that's actually, honestly, look, I feel like it's a good point. Now, this is too serious. This is more than gang. This is more than F everybody. This is more than, you know what I'm saying? This is out of control. It's not time to be worrying about all of your own little nonsense you got going on and who stepped on whose shoes and, you know what I mean, who dissed who on a song. These kids, they have nothing to do with this. It's actually time. Like, this is what I'm saying. This is why the whole stop snitching thing is so stupid, right? I'm not a gang member. I'm not living by the street code, right? Snitching, you cannot. It's not snitching because I'm not committing no crimes with anybody. I'm not taking people around committing crimes with them. I'm trying to keep my community safe. We're trying to keep the kids alive. So it ain't snitching. We need to know what's going on. And look, I know these gang members, they're not gonna snitch. They're not gonna get in the streets and help the police work out what's going on. But my God, like, this is just, it's time to just get over this. Oh, no snitching. Oh, no, wall of silence in the community. Like, the community needs to come together and stamp this out because this ain't gonna run. Right. But anyway, I'm actually getting frustrated even covering this one, man. It's actually so frustrating that people have that attitude. But anyway, both Flyboy Dougie 3s and MB Nano, the alleged gang members and rumored targets at the party, targets of the shooting that they, people are basically saying the streets are talking, saying that that's who they were trying to get. Okay, they appeared in court for their probation violations. And the local news, just like the police, they're on their ass. They're highlighting their extensive criminal history.
In court Thursday afternoon, Luciano Guerrero walked in wearing an orange jail jumpsuit, facing a judge for the first time after being arrested Monday morning for parole violation. He was with family at Saturday night's party when shots were fired. Guerrero has 2 different cases pending. According to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, in 2023, Guerrero was sentenced to a total of 2 years for carrying a loaded firearm in public while an active gang member, and for evading a peace officer while driving recklessly. The judge did not set a bail for the parole violation, but a previous $250,000 bail on another case was doubled to $500,000. His next court date is on December 11th. Only a few floors down, Billy Williams had his arraignment for parole revocation. That is the process of returning a parolee to prison for violating the conditions of their parole, which authorities believe Williams did the night of the shooting. On Tuesday, KCRA spoke to Williams, who described the chaos during and after the shooting that took 4 lives. The sheriff's office says Williams has a criminal history, including felony charges of injury to a spouse, domestic violence, false imprisonment of a person, felony vandalism, and willful cruelty to a child. In court today, Williams, whose sister threw the party Saturday night, was appointed an attorney. The judge says parole has asked Williams to serve 180 days in the county jail. After a lot of back and forth between Williams and his attorney, the judge offered to put it over for further arraignment, to which the attorney agreed. Williams' next court date has been set for Monday, December 8th. Live in San
So 180 days, all right, but the cops will be doing anything. They'll be looking into everybody's history very deeply. They'll be trying to get to the bottom of this, and they're basically going to be desperate to try and work out, yo, we're going to do anything to keep you guys off the streets because this is so out of control. That's unfortunately just what's going to happen, okay? Now, although it's been rumored and basically people were saying that FBI were on the scene, it has now been officially confirmed that the mass shooting case has been escalated far beyond the local law enforcement. Both the FBI and the ATF are now heavily and formally involved in the investigation. That's what's
17 people were shot and 4 of them died at a child's birthday party on Saturday.
We want to show you the 3
Authorities have released few details about suspects or motive. I took community concerns to former assistant special agent in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles division. He's an expert in cases like this.
From the FBI's perspective, like, what is that federal assistance look like? And is there a reason that they may be holding off on providing any information to the public if they have it?
It certainly has a lot of the indicators of it being a gang-related shooting, and especially if people that were present at the scene when this happened are refusing to give statements.
Detectives say there may have been multiple shooters, but no arrests and no suspect descriptions.
That's an indicator as well that they possibly know who the shooters were, or they know the reasons for the shooting, and they don't want to publicly give any information about that because technically that could put a target on their back.
The FBI and ATF are now assisting.
The resources that they have that usually, especially in terms of scientific investigation in the labs, usually exceeds that of local police department.
As the community continues to pray for answers.
I want to give kudos to each and every one of our law enforcement, our officials, our local leaders. What's at stake here is our safety, so they're promptly responding to what's going on.
Detectives say even the smallest detail could help.
The $50,000 reward that the FBI has offered is not very routine in these types of matters. The primary reason it's given, especially if it is a gang-related shooting, there is someone out there who knows exactly who committed this.
All of us on our end, you know, what we can do is we hear something, we say something.
We just pray that the law find them.
You know, it's facts, man. It's facts, and I hope that the law finds them before the ops find them. Because realistically, bro, we want to see. We don't want to see street justice. We want to see real justice in this case. We want to see people facing real consequences, real deterrence, and we don't want to see anything like this happen again anywhere in America. Now, one last thing that I want to leave you with, okay? There was a report of a separate drive-by that had happened days after the initial mass shooting. Now, Renegade Media, who's been covering this very well, and I've touched on a few of his clips in a few earlier videos, he's basically to come out and say it was an unrelated shooting, but apparently it might still be related to gang violence, but not necessarily this gang war. However, interestingly, the woman that was killed in that incident was apparently the same person, the very same woman who had made nationwide news earlier for live streaming a drunk driving crash that actually killed her and sister.
Once again, I got to hit you guys with some crazy information. That Stockton drive-by shooting I was talking about, it was this girl right here. She went by the name of Lulu from Eastside Stockton. Yeah, she was a gangster norteña. These are pictures of her from her Instagram to show you that she was involved in that lifestyle, her and her boyfriend. Now, everybody's familiar with this girl. A long time ago, she got sentenced to 6 years for involuntary manslaughter when she decided to live stream, get into a car wreck, drunk driving, and take her 14-year-old sister's life, and then had the audacity to record it. Everybody's familiar with that. I got the uncensored version of that, and trust me when I tell you, you don't want to see it. I wish I never did. So she takes her young sister's life, only goes to jail for a year, gets out that same year, takes the cops on a high-speed chase because she has unregistered tags, or her tags were expired. She had a pistol in the car, wrecks that vehicle too, but nobody gets hurt. So she has a lot of history and a criminal background. A young girl that was just making all the wrong decisions. These are posts the night that she passed away. Looks like she was instigating and trying to get into an altercation with some other homegirl / gang member out of the streets of Stockton, even leaking her location of where she's at. So this girl was heavily involved in a lifestyle and it led to her demise. It led to somebody actually locating her, shooting her and her boyfriend. But something tells me, and I'll drop it on Renegade Media on YouTube, that the actual intended target was her boyfriend. She's just the one that got hit with the most bullets. Now, I'm sorry. My condolences go out to her mother because her mother now lost both her daughters. Both her daughters by the hands of one daughter who couldn't make all the right decisions in life. But this is another reason why I go hard on Norteños and their weak politics and their pride on being structured. They always get women involved, and this lifestyle is now encouraging young women to be a part of it. Even though it's by choice and not by force, your lifestyle is influencing people that don't belong in this lifestyle. Now, if you want to throw your life away and you want to die by it, fine, do it on your own accord. But your guys' lifestyle is ruining other people's lives and other people's families because you don't know what you want to do with your life. You want to throw your life away, fine, but stop influencing others to waste theirs because you guys think you guys are hard. And this is just one of those videos about the consequences for these young women when they really want to join this lifestyle. I don't want you to end up just like this. Once again.
So look, man, it's clearly a lot going on up there in Stockton, okay? A lot going on. But look, I'll keep you guys updated on anything else. I do feel like we're going to begin to see a lot more information coming out formally from the authorities around this case, with the FBI, ATF, everybody else getting involved. It is actually clearly being taken very seriously by the authorities. But I think the biggest thing that I've taken away from this is I think it's very misguided. Even if it's true, if you're on the gang side of this, either the victim or the shooter side, calling out the police is a very, very bad move right now. And the police are pissed. They're pissed that this has even been allowed to happen. They're probably pissed that these bigger agencies, the FBI, ATF, are coming through saying, you guys can't even control your city. We're going to need to step in and straighten this thing out. And then you got these guys that are members calling out saying the police weren't even helping people on the scene. You made it. Hey, the block was already hot. You just made the block way hotter, man. That is actually crazy. But anyway, I'll keep you guys updated. Anything else that comes out around this situation, I will be reporting for you guys. And, you know, it's been a little bit quiet past few days. I've been just dealing with a few things. I had, what's it called? I had, what do they call it? A cavity. I had a cavity today. My tooth, my jaw, not be feeling too good. All right, I ain't had one of those in years. It really hurts. So I was kind of struggling to even record today. My mouth was numb for half of the day. I couldn't even talk. I was sounding crazy out here. It was mad. But I'm back. All right, I'm online. I've got a whole bunch of videos that I'm going to record. I might just do a couple tonight and then like loads of videos tomorrow. I don't know. But I'll keep you guys updated, man. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out here, gang. Peace.